Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
And a good morning to one and all, the 16th of January, 2014. Tom Sokolowski, I know I said he was going to be here today, and he's not able. He has a medical issue to be attended to. And he has a test to pass, and we wish him well on it. Meanwhile, it's then just you and me, as it has been all week. My gosh, it's like, doesn't anybody like me anymore? I'm all by myself. Watch Potter stand me up tomorrow. Jeez. Okay, so... a few things from the animal world to start us off. So the Westminster Dog Show is coming up. Not that I give a damn. Sometimes I watch it and laugh a little bit. Sometimes I laugh at those people running with the dog, running with the dogs around the circle, and it just all seems so pretentious to me. It just all seems so... I can't... And if you've ever seen the movie... What's that movie? Best in Show. Best in Show. I mean, I think of all the things that Christopher Guest has done, all those wonderful movies he's done, this had to be the easiest one, because it seems that Westminster just satirizes itself to my eye. I also, of course, have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder about people who get into dog breeding. The whole thing makes me. I've never had a dog that was anything but a mutt, and I've done so much work with shelters in my life, and there's just so many dogs out there, wondrous beings who need homes, that I've never, ever comprehended why people get a breed, other than they want a specific breed for a specific reason, and they know the temperament, and they know what they're getting and all that kind of stuff. But I still don't get it. Anyway, Westminster's coming up, and the good news is, this was in the sports page of the New York Times today, that the snooty folks at the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show are, for the first time, going to allow, in the days before Westminster, agility competition, which is a lot more fun to watch, believe me, than around and around and around. This is the first time it will have an agility championship, and they're going to allow, get this, let me see what they call them. They're going to allow mixed breed dogs. 16 mixed breed dogs. They don't have papers. 16 mixed breed dogs will be in that contest, along with some that have their papers. It's a field of 228. So 16 mutts have crashed the agility. God, I hope one of the mutts takes it. Man, I hope one of the mutts runs away with the agility championship. So there you have it. By the way, if you're into this kind of thing, it says right here it's going to be broadcast live by Fox Sports on Saturday, February 8th. Commentary given by Olympic gold medal diver Greg Louganis. What? Well, what's Greg Louganis doing the commentary on dog agility? Because it turns out that Greg Louganis is now a dog trainer. So that's what he's doing. I always liked him. Now I like him even better. So there you have it. You know, a lot of people who have dogs that have a lot of energy, they have found that the way you help a dog like that release his energy or her energy in a constructive manner rather than doing something like I had one of my dogs did once, which is eat the couch. That agility training is the way to go. They just love it. And they're so dang smart. So that's Westminster coming up. And for the first time, they're letting mutts in. Sorta. Certainly not into the more rarefied competition where, you know, the people run around in circles looking like idiots. The other thing, this is so cool. I wish I had a better scientific head. I wish that part of my brain worked better because I am finding myself so fascinated by scientific things. And I realize that my capacity to truly understand these things that fascinate me is, I think, limited because eventually it gets into stuff I just don't have enough knowledge to go there. And here is a case in point. This is an article from the journal Nature, and it has finally, definitively, they've suspected but have never known. They know now why birds fly in a V when they fly in a V, because not all birds do. But when birds fly in a V, and we mostly see the V's when the ducks and the geese go back and forth in their seasonal migrations. But the scientists studied another bird, a larger bird, that also migrates and finds itself always in that formation in its group. And it is a northern bald ibis. And they're big birds with these long, long, long bills. So they never could. The way they figured this out is by having the birds, all the birds in the flock, carry custom-made data collectors. Now, the reason this could never have been done before is the kind of data, the kind of info they wanted to get from the birds required an awful lot of scientific gizmos. But, you can't strap 10 pounds of, stuff on a bird's back and say, now just go about your business and we'll collect the data. So they managed to squeeze into a device that they created, which weighed, get this, less than 1 ounce. So the birds were carrying a device that weighed less than 1 ounce, and that device included, listen to this list, that less than a 1 ounce device included an accelerometer, a gyroscope, a magnetometer, a memory card, a battery, a microcontroller, and a GPS unit. Now, you couldn't, there was no such capability just even 10 years ago. So now you're able to put all of that, all those devices on these birds and tell them to go about their business, and you just collect the data. Here's what they found. I love this. These particular birds, they followed on their 600-mile migration from Austria to Italy. And the reason birds fly in a V is because it helps them conserve energy. The reason being that, let me see the easiest way to tell you this. I just love this stuff. As the birds are flapping their wings, the birds on the next bird down gets a boost from the updraft of air created in the wake of the flapping wings of the bird in front of it. To be right behind that bird, you wouldn't get that lift. To be off to the side. And what they've been able to see is that throughout the flight, the birds continue to find that sweet spot where they are getting a lift from the bird in front of them. Now, clearly, the bird that doesn't get any help is the guy in front, the one who forms the tip of the V. And at least with these northern bald ibises, they have seen that the leader of the group goes just so long and then drops back, and another bird takes that, what turns out to be not enviable space, where you are working harder because you've got nobody in front of you providing lift. And they say that, you know, airplane wings also, you know, do this as these birds' wings go down. You can see why I wouldn't be a science teacher. As they go down, then air is rising off to the right and the left of their wings, and it forms a vortex. Airplane wings, it says here, also shed these kinds of air currents. And sometimes when you see vapor trails, they say these are sometimes visible as vapor trails. However, there's much more going on with the bird's flight than with an airplane flight and wing, because a bird's wake is more complex than an airplane's, because, well, there's just a lot more going on. I mean, a fixed wing as opposed to this kind of activity. An analysis, get this, an analysis of 24,000 bird flaps, blop, 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 showed that the ibises, on average, adjusted their position and wing phase. They actually figure out when they should be, their wings should be going up as opposed to down. It's not just position, it's the choreography of the flapping wings for that to happen at the right time. And that they constantly adjusted not only their position, but where exactly their wings were in their flapping to optimize the lift they would get from the vortex they were in. So this has been, obviously, scientists thought that's what was going on in large part, but they have never been able to prove it like they have now. So this is aerodynamics. I just find that fascinating. Now, you wouldn't get that. Remember the other bird thing I went nuts about recently, the murmurations? Obviously, a murmuration, which is just this, seemingly chaotic movement of birds, obviously, well, why am I saying obviously? That's not the same kind of thing is not going on with a murmuration. I mean, I don't know. Geez, I wish I knew more. Colette writes, I don't know if that's a news study. It is. But she says that's not news. I heard that years ago about geese. I suppose it gives more information. They've never been able to. There have been, theories of what's going on. But because they were never able to have the kind of data that actually shows, they're not just riding a draft, they're actually choreographing their wing flaps. That was not necessarily something that was known, nor could they actually prove it with data. So now they can. And as Colette points out, sure, it's the same kind of thing going on in bicycle racing. When, there's somebody who they ride behind and a little off to the side of somebody to, I don't know, whatever, whenever they're not, doping. I so don't care about bicycle racing because that is one of those sports that is just so unbelievably tainted to me by you-know-who. And I see there's a movie now out about him, some kind of a documentary, which I guess probably is not flattering. Bob and Braddock says, all this talk about pets got me to believe that you should bring back your popular Adopt-a-Pet segment on your show. Yeah. The problem is, well, maybe there isn't a problem. I could see if we could do it. It's a little tight in here. We could do cats, maybe.
I'll take them all home.
I know. See, that's the problem. Jess is nervous because she says she'll take them all. That is the problem. It is so gut-wrenching for us to do those. I always wanted to take every animal, not quite every animal, but almost every animal home. I had actually approached the folks at Animal Friends who had done that with me on my last radio gig, or my penultimate radio gig, as it turned out. And I think the feeling was that it's a lot harder to do that downtown. The people who schlep the animals, they have to schlep them, they have to find a place to park, and they don't want to be having to go to, I don't know, we could give it a shot, but they'd have to, I think parking was the big problem. We can revisit that. I don't know. The other thing was I used to have, as you know, 3 hours a day, 15 hours a week. And in 15 hours a week, you have a lot to fill, and you can afford the time and space to do that. And I'm not so sure that that's the case now. But I have thought about it. Okay, so anyway, there it is. Aerodynamics with bald ibises. And also the Westminster Dog Show allowing in, once they get their nose in the door, there'll be no stopping those mutts because they're just smarter. They're just better. That's all there is to it. It's sort of like, inbreeding. What do you get? With inbreeding, you get hemophilia. That's what you get, and you get morons. And dog breeding is no different. If you have such a small pool of genetic material, things start going wrong fast. And that's why mutts, by nature, I think, I mean, not all, are healthier, smarter, just generally more capable. Now, of course, you can get a totally stupid mutt. This is possible, too. I've had a few of those. But I just think mutts are the better dogs. And I don't understand why most people, it seems, want a breed. I mean, I do understand because I've talked to them about it, but I just don't think that gets. I don't think it's a good enough reason. That's what I think. It's not a good enough reason. As I'm watching you at work, this is from a teacher. And the teacher says, as I'm watching you at work, I do when my students have their elective, I always find it funny that there's a huge ad for Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club next to your head. Now, this is in the city paper, huh?
Yeah, I guess.
Or not, or it's on the website?
I don't see it.
No. I bet it's on the website then.
I'm looking on the website. I got the improv.
Okay, it's a huge ad for Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club next to my head and an ad for a Metallica tribute band. Nothing says Lynn Cullen like strippers and heavy metal.
Oh, Metallica's up here. I see that. But no cheerleaders.
Nothing says Lynn Cullen like strippers and heavy metal. Well, you know what? There are certain sides of me that you don't know about. Oh, my God. All right. I think I'm taking a break. There's something that looks like snow going on out there, but it's very ineffective. It's just ain't gonna make it. So I'll be back. Just a minute.
More is on the way with Lynn Cullen Live.
Vikings.
We come from different places.
Uptown.
Downtown.
We come to different conclusions.
Half empty.
Half full.
But when we live united, we make a real difference in the building blocks of life. Children succeed in school, families gain financial stability, the health of our neighbors improves, and suddenly so do our communities. Real change won't happen without you.
Live united.
So give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Sign up today at liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Happy New Year from the all-new BergBargains.com. Log on today for the best deals from your favorite local restaurants, bars, museums, and shows. Sign up for the weekly email update for your chance to win a $100 gift card from the Swickley Spa. The all-new BergBargains.com, Pittsburgh's best bargains. BergBargains.com.
Have a question or an opinion? Call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn@pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live.
All right, for you cinephiles, the Academy Award nominations were released in the last hour and a half or something. And for those of you who give a damn, this year, actually, I have seen most of these movies, and I can certainly run it off and see the ones I haven't. And I have to tell you, I don't think any of these new movies is like just extraordinary. I don't. Maybe one. And, okay, we've got a caller. Caller, go ahead, please.
Hello?
Hello!
Hey, this is Clarence from Canonsburg.
Yes, I understand it is.
I know you're probably ahead of this because I stream, your show as opposed to, watch the video.
Uh-huh.
I'm like a minute or so behind.
Okay.
But the woman who texted you or emailed you about the ads, most ads are done by your cookies. They give you the ads that they think you want to see. My ads are going to be different than hers.
Are you sure that? But I think this is just the.
Saying, I have
Oh, really?
improv,
Oh.
like a comedy.
Well, what does that say about this teacher?
That's the point.
Strippers? You mean you don't get strippers?
Or what it says about the people who use the computer. She's a high school teacher, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. She said.
Okay.
She said when my students. I don't know if it's a she, he, or what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I wanted to say, because I went to my website. I got stuff about like money. I went online to see, and I went, let's see, save more. Something about art. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Best
really?
bargains in there.
Really?
You know what I mean? Because I'm a cheap guy. There's something about a restaurant, but my ads are nowhere close to that.
Hey, so when's the last time you were at a strip club?
You know what?
You've never been.
No, I went once to have a friend who was a stripper.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to, and this is a whole other story. I had another female friend, and we went to this strip club to see this female. Well, you actually met her, believe it or not.
I have. Where? When? What?
We went to. She was who I brought to. What was it? The Vagina Monologues. Remember, you gave me tickets.
Oh yeah, vaguely. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah, and then I think we actually went to like
a thing
have a drink or
afterwards.
something.
Yeah.
But
okay.
yeah. So we went to see her strip.
Yeah.
Okay. It was
Okay.
the most uncomfortable thing I've ever been through in my life.
Why?
You
Because
think that
wait.
a guy who has two female friends and one's a stripper, that it'd be like great. But I was so uncomfortable, it was ridiculous.
And you were uncomfortable because you knew her, or
because
in general?
I knew her. They know me. I'm just not, into I don't know, female exploitation or something. I don't know. I might be too much of a feminist. It was just weird.
Do you know?
After that, I'll never do anything like that again in my life.
As you're saying this, it occurs to me in my long life,
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a strip show live.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen movie depictions and stuff like that, but I've never. No, and I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to go in there. No.
Yeah, I was really freaked out by it.
Yeah. I don't blame you. Well, good for you.
Yeah, and that, that's one of those things where I think to myself, that I try to, self-analyze, like, why was I so freaked out by it? So, but this was years ago.
Well, I think it's because you knew her. And maybe...
Yeah, but, there were other strippers there. I was just freaked out by the whole situation. Or maybe because I went with a woman, and I'm thinking I'm losing respect and all this kind of good stuff. I don't know.
Huh.
But it was weird, and I'll never do it again.
Well, so you're not going to be the one who takes me to my first strip show then. Okay. All right. All right.
Okay, bye.
Bye. So, back to the Academy Awards. I actually saw one of these movies just yesterday. I took myself to a movie that I think very few people will see. And it doesn't have a chance, but it did get a nomination. It's called Nebraska.
That looks really good.
You think it looks good?
I do.
Huh. I'm surprised, Jess. It's a very small little movie. It is a tiny little black and white movie that didn't cost much of anything to make. There's not much dialogue in it because it's about people who don't say anything. There is no sex. There's no violence. Oh, there's one punch. There's no anything. It's car chase. There is nothing that supposedly has to be. There's no huge story. There's nothing. And I have to tell you, I think I enjoyed that movie more than I did American Hustle, which did get nominated, more than I did Gravity, which did get nominated. Well, certainly more than 12 Years a Slave, which you do not enjoy. 12 Years a Slave is an ordeal. And it's, of all the movies, I think it's the one that deserves the kind of recognition that an Oscar would give. I don't know. I'm just... Dallas Buyers Club, I think, was an excellent movie. And I don't think a lot of people are seeing that one either. Because I want to see something about some guy dying of AIDS. Philomena, which everybody seems to love so much, I thought was a tiny little movie and not as good as Nebraska. But it's like, I don't know. Wolf of Wall Street, I don't want to even see it. I guess I will, but I don't want to. I so despise that culture. Why do I want to pay money to go and be immersed in it for even a minute? The other movie of all the movies nominated that I have not seen, The Wolf of Wall Street is one, and the other is Captain Phillips. And that one I don't want to see. And here's why, and I've said this before. I know the story. The few little snippets I've seen, the trailers I've seen, I found myself on the side of the pirates. And they're just these emaciated African guys who they've got, they've got no opportunity. So being a pirate is something that they can do. And I just don't want to see a movie in which the full force of the American military comes down on these scrawny Africans. I mean, I don't want to sit in a movie in which I'm cheering when they get killed or something, because I don't want to. I think it's such a sad situation all around, and I'm sure the idea is to root for, of course, the Tom Hanks character and his as the Captain Phillips. I just don't want. I mean, not that I wanted him killed or anything, but I don't like the whole idea of it. And the only other one I haven't seen is Her, which I want to see, but I have a suspicion I won't like. But I like the idea of it. And Her is about a guy who actually falls in love with, essentially, the female voice that talks to him from his smartphone, Siri. And I can see, I think the reason I want to see that is, first of all, I think that it's prescient. I think it's speaking to the reality of what technology is doing to our interpersonal communications. I know that the actors in it are fantastic actors, and Spike Jonze is excellent, and he's the one behind it. I just that one I got to see. So there you have it. Anyway, the give me a break. Meryl Streep is nominated again. This is, it's sort of like, aren't there any other actors out there? Look at this. Best Actress category. Sandra Bullock. Judi Dench. Meryl Streep. Why don't you just give them Oscars from now until, just tell them to go away and let us get to know some others. Cate Blanchett and Amy Adams. They're all fantastic. Best Actor, it's Christian Bale. Leo DiCaprio.
He's never won, though.
He's never won.
He's the Susan Lucci of the Oscars.
All right, Susan Lucci of the Oscars. And I don't know how you pronounce this. Ejiofor, the star of 12 Years a Slave, who I just saw in a movie that I had failed to see, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago when it came out, called Dirty Pretty Things.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. And that's a great movie. Okay. And who else? Matthew McConaughey, understandably, for Dallas Buyers Club, and Bruce Dern for Nebraska. Although, I don't know. I wouldn't give it to him, but I'm glad he got the nomination. So, whatever. A lot of crap out there is what there is. There's just a lot of crap. Okay, but I do recommend Nebraska. It ain't going to win much anything. And I think the best supporting actress, one of the nominees, plays Bruce. You don't know this actress from A Hole in the Ground. She's marvelous. She plays Bruce Dern's wife in Nebraska. I never even heard of her before. I never even saw her before. And she's a wonderful actress. Wonderful actress. And if I saw her name here, I'd give it to you, but I'm not seeing it. Yes, I can. No. All right. Oh, it is June Squibb.
That's right.
Have you ever heard of her? No. It's an older woman, June Squibb, for Nebraska. And I would so love it if she would knock off all the usual suspects, like Julia Roberts in this crap movie, Osage County or whatever the hell it is. That's a crap movie. They just... What?
Did you see it?
No, I haven't seen it. I'm not going to. It's just one of those movies where they throw every actor and actress into it. And you can tell, it's just sort of, to me, no, I don't think we know what a good movie is anymore. A good movie is Nebraska. And you know what? Next to nothing happens. But what does happen, it's the best movie I've seen so far, if you ask me. But that's just because I'm odd. Nothing against Meryl Streep or Judi Dench or Cate Blanchett, but everything they do is perfect. And the same can be said of Jennifer Lawrence. I believe in sharing the wealth. I do. It gets boring. It's like, the friggin' New England Patriots always in the hunt. I'm sick of it. Let somebody else have some glory. There are so many extraordinary actors in the world, and they... Whatever. This is the classic from the classic movie Casablanca, the classic line spoken by Claude Rains in it, which is, round up the usual suspects. I'm taking a break. When we return, I want to revisit the horror of West Virginia. When I say West Virginia, I usually put an adjective in front of it, which is a hyphenated adjective, but this is it. God-forsaken. West Virginia. After this.
Stick around for more with Lynn Cullen Live after this.
Download the brand new CP Haps app and find out what's going on in Pittsburgh. It's the fun and free app that puts the most popular events at your fingertips. Text events to 77948 to download now and register to win a Seven Springs overnight getaway. The CP Haps app, brought to you by Pittsburgh City Paper.
Confusion ever someone or have sudden...
Have you ever had sudden confusion, trouble speaking, or understanding someone?
It could be one of the 5 signs of stroke.
Sudden weakness or numbness of the face, arm, or leg.
Sudden trouble with vision in one or both eyes.
Suddenly having trouble walking or difficulty with balance.
Or a sudden intense headache that comes out of nowhere.
Don't wait. Call 911 immediately.
Time lost is brain lost.
Find out more at powertoendstroke.org. Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Once again, here's Lynn Cullen.
Jeez.
I'll figure it out.
Jess just told me that one of Bruce Dern's babysitters was Eleanor Roosevelt.
I'm looking up right now.
Not really a babysitter. Maybe so he's from important people then.
Yeah.
Because first of all, I don't get Eleanor Roosevelt generally needing a babysitting job. And so she maybe looked after the child of some friends, the Derns. So who are they?
Oh, it's Mrs. Godmother was her also, so that's why.
Eleanor Roosevelt was Bruce Dern's godmother?
Yes, because...
That's amazing.
Paternal grandfather.
His paternal grandfather. Here, Jess.
Okay.
His paternal grandfather.
Let's see. George Henry Dern, former Utah governor and Secretary of War. Let's see.
Okay, so they were...
And his godfather was a former governor.
Okay.
Two-time presidential candidate.
Wow. Bruce Dern. Who knew?
I did.
You did. And, of course, Bruce Dern's daughter, Laura Dern...
was just filming here.
Which is filming here. And speaking of filming here, the big news today, of course, is Russell Crowe's coming back to make another movie. And even more exciting, he's bringing with him one of the stars of Breaking Bad, Aaron Paul. Your guy! He's going to be here! She's got the hots for him. So you got to, maybe you'll have a chance to see Aaron Paul. Or as Aaron Paul would say, yeah, bitch! I got to tell you, if you've never, the entire oeuvre of Breaking Bad might be the great, it makes these movies look like the crap a lot of them are. The best acting, the best screenwriting, the best dialogue, the best direction, cinematography, editing is in these series. It's like in Breaking Bad, in The Wire. And it makes all the shows that everybody talks about, I mean, it just makes them look like, I hate to say this, guys, not crap exactly, but meh. Okay, so... Oh, here's somebody admitting they get the same ads when they try to tune me in that the last caller got. Oh, and I think they're right. It doesn't go by your likes or dislikes. It's not that fancy a thing. The ads just rotate. That's what I think. So when you refresh, you get a different ad every time. Like you might get the Improv one time, then you get Sewickley Spa, then you get Card Connect, then you get the Pittsburgh Dance Council, then you get the strippers, then you get every 10th click is the cheerleaders ad. The Metallica ad doesn't change because it's under the free stuff section. Well, I think that this emailer has just cut through the crap and given us the rundown. Thank you. What else? Anything else here, guys? PJ writes, okay, here's the inevitable email that you're going to get when bringing up people and their pets. We're crazy. Don't forget, with a little effort and patience, if someone has their heart set on a pure breed, they end up in shelters also. I was lucky enough to stumble upon my pure-blooded sweetheart. Kind of feel funny using that phrase when referring to a German Shepherd, but it is possible. She came from Pittsburgh and had been abused, and the bark, this is a quote, was beaten out of her. 5 years now with us, and she's gotten her bark back. Oh. We have 12 pets. That's getting into the dangerous territory there, PJ. We have 12 pets, and all are adopted and rescued. But the point is, you can get the purebreds, yes, from rescue sites. Well, I know you can. And I think if you want a purebred, that's where you should get them. Although often the ones that up in the rescue sites are there because whatever person wanted this purebred thing didn't have a clue about the temperament of the dog or what to do with the dog. The dog was just a status symbol or this and that, whatever. And he does say, I so agree with you about Captain Phillips. Yeah, I just don't want to. I don't want to. Also, PJ is sharing with us something called Sturgeon's Law. And this is what Wikipedia says Sturgeon's Law is. Actually, it's really the proper word for it is Sturgeon's Revelation. It is an adage, oh, I love adages, commonly cited as 90% of everything is crap. It's true, isn't it? It is derived from quotations by American science fiction author Theodore Sturgeon. He was also a critic. And he also coined another adage that he termed Sturgeon's law. It is his revelation that is usually referred to by that term. It was his observation that while science fiction was often derided for its low quality by literary critics, he said it could be noted that the majority of works in other genres could equally be seen to be of low quality, and that science fiction was thus no different in that regard to any of these forms, that 90% of anything is crap. I think that's probably about right. But I do think that the number has risen for Hollywood movies. I think we're approaching maybe 95% is crap. And it doesn't mean that you can't go to the movie and say, oh, yeah, okay, that was a good movie. But it's just nothing special. Nothing really special, if you ask me. But then who's asking? Okay. I took my second break, right? You did. Yes, I did. Short-term memory loss, I'll tell you. This is scary. So you know what I'm doing now to help my brain? Lumosity. Have you heard of that?
The website?
Yeah, lumosity.com.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
I'm doing... Have you heard about it? I got turned on to this by Sally Wiggin, who laughed as she watched me try to do my first game on her phone, where I got so flummoxed. I was like, ah, ah! But I'm getting better, and here's where a lot of the games are, the little games you play, are things that for me are really good because they involve mathematics or geometry. And I'm really bad at those. Those are the things that I'm not good at. Spatial stuff, short-term memory, things like that. And so you can, if you have a smartphone, you just go to lumosity.com and you can download very quickly a free app, which is what I have because I'm a cheapskate. But I'm getting to the point where I'm going to buy the whole thing because I so look forward. They only let you play once a day, really, on the free app. And I'm just getting so into it. So if you like competing with yourself, if you like upping your score on something that has to do with how quickly you can get your brain to work and function, some of it also has to do with impulse control. So that they'll throw, you're throwing your curves and where, you've got to, be willing to stop and start in a moment. I do recommend it if you have a smartphone or if you have, because you can do it on your computer too, but I think you have to buy it. Lumosity, Lumosity. I've actually seen it advertised, but I never listened to advertisements. So it just sort of like went in one ear and out the other. But for anyone who's looking to keep their brain a little more active and who also loves competing against oneself, which I do. Chris writes that she's dying to see Nebraska. Well, I don't want to, again, I mean, there's always a danger in now expecting it to be, because I have to tell you, as I was sitting there, I began to think, Jesus is slow. Jesus is so slow. But that's one of the reasons it's so good. I think it's so real. It's so real. And even its depiction of what the elites on the coast sneeringly call flyover country because it takes you through Wyoming and Montana and the Dakotas and to Nebraska. And the folks there, the people there, the quality of life there, it is, I think, just brilliant. I think it's brilliant. I loved it. And for you Breaking Bad fans, there's another Breaking Bad actor that pops up in that. Call Saul.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the guy who played the attorney is in that. Plays Bruce Dern's son. Chris writes, I am dying to see Nebraska. I really hope Bruce Dern wins. He's not going to win. And also, I just don't see how he wins. Sorry. CBS this morning, Sunday, had a segment about June Squibb, or whatever her name is, the one who plays Dern's wife. She's been around for years. I'm sure she has. She's 84, and this is the first movie that she's ever gotten any recognition for. God bless her. What a ride she's on. 84. I hope she beats everyone. Well, but again, she won't. It's a little black and white movie. You think all these tinsel-toed, size zero jerks even go see it? No. They showed the scene from the movie when she visits the grave at the cemetery. Oh, God, what a funny. She's wonderful. She's just wonderful. I loved when she told her son, he tried to get in my pants. And then what she did after. I'm pulling for the movie to win, and I haven't even seen it yet. But to me, that was believe me, that was one of the more energetic scenes. I missed the first 10 minutes of the show. Where's Tom? He's, I alluded to it, but his docs wanted him to have a stress test. There's nothing, ugh. Poor Tom. He's on a treadmill somewhere, cursing his fate. And he does have a medical procedure he has to have done next week, which is what the stress test is about. And so he won't be here next week either. So we ain't going to see Tom for a few weeks. But, wish him well. He's got a medical issue he's got to be dealing with right now. Okay. All right, Mike from Philly. Let me tell you my reason for getting a purebred. I have had dogs all my life. My wife hated dogs. I begged her to get one, and finally she let me under certain conditions. Oh, so you're blaming it on your wife. You're blaming it on your wife under certain conditions. No slobbering. No shedding. Well, no slobbering, shedding, licking, or a lot of barking. What? Yeah, that's somebody who doesn't like dogs, that's for sure. So we got a mini pincher, which is a tiny little thing, doesn't have enough hair to shed, and no, it's not a slobberer dog. And I'm sure they're wonderful animals. My wife is now, of course, in love with the dog. They are attached at the hip. She gets kisses from the dog. Oh, so licking's okay now? Loves when the dog barks and is begging me for another. I have never had anything but rescue dogs, and the next one I get will be a rescue. That's it. Okay, she got her purebred, you get a rescue. Here's the problem. In Philadelphia, on any given day, 96.5% of the dogs adoptable in the shelters are pit bulls or Rottweilers. I asked the woman there how I can get a small dog, and she said, you have to be standing in here when one is brought in. That's your only chance. It's so bad here in Philly that the ASPCA does not take in strays anymore. How heartbreaking. I have since expanded my search to nonprofit foster shelters. They rescue puppy mill dogs, take in surrendered dog strays. Please let your listeners know to look at alternative adoption options like these small nonprofits. There's a pet shop. There's some pet shops that still have not puppy mill dogs that take in dogs from shelters, like Pet not Smart, Petland. Petland in East Liberty near Trader Joe's is a locally owned place that does have dogs and cats, but they get all of their dogs and cats from, I think, the Animal Rescue League, from shelters. And yes, there's shelter. You can go online and do it that way. But I just want to say this. Pit bulls, Rottweilers, some of the nicest, sweetest dogs I've ever known are pit bull mixes. Or pit bulls. They are no more dangerous than a lot of these purebreds. Believe me, I think in terms of biting and dogs you should be scared of having, your little children around. I think German Shepherds are way up there. I think Boxers are way up there. I think Huskies are up there. Cocker Spaniels are nasty little biters. And everybody freaks because Rottweilers and Pit Bulls are, it's because of the company they keep, right? We're scared of the humans that want them for the wrong reasons. And so then all of that comes down onto the poor dog. I'll tell you something. If I ever adopt a dog again, I have little doubt that it will be part Pit Bull or Rottweiler because I know that's what's there. I know that's who needs a home. And I know they can be the sweetest animals in the universe. The poor dears. I can't stand it. Oh, I said we were going to do it in West Virginia. Do you know that West Virginia, so these idiots in that state and at the water company went and told all those poor showerless people who can't touch the tap water, go ahead, it's okay. They're phasing them back in. Guess what? It's not okay because the emergency room at the hospital in Charleston has been seeing an influx of people with symptoms clearly related to the fact that they're drinking that water that is now said to be okay and taking baths in it. They're seeing people with skin and eye irritation, with rashes, with nausea, with diarrhea, and upset stomachs. After they lifted the ban for that certain hunk of folks, over 100 patients came into area emergency rooms in just 36 hours, reporting all of those kinds of symptoms and all related to exposure to the water that they were now told was fit to drink. And that is a report from the Charleston Daily Mail. And when the Daily Mail reporter tried to get someone from West Virginia American Water, the water company, to return their calls, they're being stonewalled. I got to tell you, if I were there, and apparently most people are not drinking that water, nobody knows if it's safe. This non-story that turned out to be a big story continues to be a big story. And I just don't know how much it's being covered. Just want to quickly get in this. The Air Force, the United States Air Force, has suspended and then revoked the security clearances of, get this, 34 officers, all who had the job of being responsible for launching our nuclear missiles in the event of a nuclear war. Turns out they've been cheating for years on the testing that they do that shows that they are, in fact, capable of doing the job of releasing nuclear warheads on the Earth. All of these officers were at Malmstrom Air Force Base in North Dakota. Additionally, 11 other Air Force officers are being investigated on suspicion of an illegal drug operation. Last month, last month, it was revealed that an Air Force general over in Russia who oversaw the nation's nuclear weapons was kicked out because he was drunk as a skunk at a lot of very important meetings, was seen stumbling around Red Square in the company of prostitutes, who, of course, could be agents. And last May, the Air Force said it removed 17 officers assigned to stand watch over nuclear Minuteman missiles after finding safety violations. And last November, it was reported that a number of Air Force officers with the Nuclear Launch Authority had twice been caught napping with the blast doors open. I don't know what that means, but it doesn't sound good. These people have access to the buttons that would release up to 450 nuclear missiles. Now, if you add up all those officers that I just mentioned, I mean, we're getting close to like 60 Air Force officers with that kind of high-level security clearance, either cheating, lying, sleeping, drugging, or drinking. I don't know about you, but it seems to me there's a problem there. Just in case you were thinking of sleeping well tonight. Okay, that's it. Tomorrow, Chris Potter better show up. Otherwise, it'll be an entire week where I'm going to start. I need some company. Okay, Potter tomorrow.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.